What's going on, motivators? We got another video. We need to talk about New York and what's going on with this legalization of street vendors. New York is done. Let's get into this.
From criminal consequences, Local Law 122. It's part of a larger street vendor reform push. The bill removes all misdemeanor criminal penalties for general vendors and for mobile food vendors. Now, vendors who operate without a license could be subject to a violation and a fine or a civil penalty. And, of course, vendors who violate street vending laws, well, they could get hit with civil penalty, but not criminal penalties. And that's the big change here. Local Law 122 takes effect as of today. It was celebrated on the steps of City Hall with a news conference this morning.
This was a long struggle, and even before this struggle, it was a struggle for vendors every single day in the city. They'd wake up to try to pay their rent, to support their kids in childcare, and vending food. They always had the fear hanging over them of getting arrested by the NYPD, going to jail, or immigration consequences. That ends today. And it is crucial because nobody should be going to jail simply for selling food to support their family.
I used to vent in Midtown and also on the Upper East Side. And sometimes the cops pass by. You know, let's say if I'm close to the crosswalk. If they just pass by, they stop and they ask me for my license. Let's say if they don't have my license on. If I'm close to the crosswalk. If they decided to give me a criminal ticket instead of a regular ticket, they write me a criminal ticket. I want the next generation of street vendors not to deal with or not to experience what I have experienced in the past.
There's a lot to this. For example, there's long been.
I think a piece where no one's looking at is, with all of this, what's going to happen to the legal vendors? They will have to pay taxes. And those personnel on the streets who are just selling don't have to pay taxes. Like, what are we doing?
Caps on city licenses, and there's long been permit issues affecting vendors. Now, some say regulations and consequences are required, though, to ensure health guidelines and other issues. I spoke to District 44 Councilman Seinfelter on the phone. He says it's unfair to businesses and to owners who pay rent, taxes, and are following all the rules in the city. We talk to people, some who feel the same way, others who say they see all sides to this. I think it's fair to the businesses that are paying rent, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think that's fair either, because, you know, they're spending their money on doing everything the right way, you know, and we have this on the other hand, but like I said.
Hey, I'm all for vendors and street vendors, but the idea is they got to pay something to keep up with the regular stores, grocery stores that are around. You can have one set paying rent. It's just free for that individual. It's like, who's going to pull the business? They're always going to pull the business.
At the end of the day, you know, they're human and they need to survive. So that's just my opinion.
I think there should be like some kind of regulation, but in terms of how much they should fine people or something, I think they should try not to be too harsh.
I mean, not be too harsh. The thing is, there should be some kind of fine pertaining to it.
There are a lot of vendors who are very relieved by all this. Some today said it's about time.
He says in front of his Food Fair Fresh supermarket, he counts 30 unregulated vendors who leave boxes everywhere. He says there's garbage all over the ground, including old fruit and eggs.
They don't have no refrigeration, and they're selling multiple different items. I even seen vendors selling eggs, not refrigerated. Wow. A mess of box. They're blocking the sidewalk. They don't pick up their garbage.
Cruz claims his constant request for urgent help from city officials is ignored, and he's just trying to hang in there.
We love the community. We invested in the community.
This is crazy. People are getting ignored for this stuff. You could see all that. There's so many vendors all over the place, and the city is not doing anything to help those individuals. These are the streets. These are the streets. This is how the illegal vendors who are selling stuff on the street just live in a mess.
come here again, and we will at some point. No, listen.
Free everything. This is what free everything's gonna get you. Just took down the rules to enforce different illegal vending on the street. You create chaos. You create chaos in the street, chaos in the city.
African migrants selling all of these bags along this sidewalk. The sidewalk was actually completely full of people. So I was like, okay, pull over, let me see what's going on. Now I'm walking along this street and the entire sidewalk was completely packed with people buying these Louis Vuitton bags, buying these YSL bags. Obviously, all of them are knockoffs. Now, I spoke to some of the migrants. They were telling me they're all from Senegal. And as I'm walking around, they all start grabbing their bags very quickly. Again, this entire block was filled with all of these bags.
It's only going to get worse. They legalize this now. It's only going to get worse. So now the vendors, the food vendors who are selling stuff, this migrant's just going to make it worse.
Tomorrow morning, Stop and Shop grocery stores will be checking out for good. The closings will leave people who rely on them with one less option to feed their families. As WBZ's Julie McDonald shows us, communities are really feeling that loss.
Everything is fresh and everything is up to date. And that's what I like about this.
Stop and...
And the thing is, policies are driving businesses out. At least 7 grocery stores are leaving, and yet nothing is changing except for this crazy new policy that Zoran Mamdani is trying to implement. Zoran just hit his first 100 days, checking the comparison towards where he was with Mayor Adams. The new Marist poll found that 48% of New York City adults approve of the job Mamdani is doing as he hit the 100-day milestone, while 30% disapprove and 23% were unsure, a net positive approval rating of 18 percentage points. In comparison, 61% approve of Adams roughly 3 months into his tenure in 2022. And with there, it could just show that Mamdani is doing worse than Adams was, but he's getting support just because of the free stuff. And right now, he's below water as far as the 50%, but he still have a lot of backing with personnel wanting him to give those free buses and free childcare. All in all, I think there should be some kind of in-between to help the street vendors because they need to make money too. I get that portion. But at the same time, having them pay some kind of fee so that it balances out for the personnel who are paying rent. Because could you imagine you have your place where you are selling groceries, like mentioned in the first video, someone is selling eggs that have not even been refrigerated, just being outside. Who knows if it just came from a coop or not. And they're selling right in front of your store now. I think common sense approach need to come back to one of those things. Like, what is the mayor doing? What he's doing to try to help personnel in there? I guess you could help both sides as far as the street vendors and personnel who actually rent. But I think there should be a balance with it all. Okay, motivators. If you enjoy what you've seen and heard, please like, comment, subscribe, and share a Black veteran's perspective. Stay motivated.